Welcome. We are so happy that you've joined us today. I'm here again with Kelly Siracusa, and we are going to tackle another 2 emotions tonight. So we had a great response from the last 2, fear and courage. It was really fun.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, it was really cool. So tonight we have 2 new emotions. So Kelly, why don't you tell us what emotions we're going to be talking about?
Well, we're just going to really dive into it because the 2 emotions we're going to deal with tonight is hatred and love.
Ooh, I love it.
And the good thing about these emotions are they're polar opposites.
Yes.
And you really can't have one without having the other. So it's really important to get that hatred out of our body, to release it, and to bring in the love.
So that we can fully feel love within our lives.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so why is it important for us? Let's start with hatred.
Okay.
Why is it important that we recognize hatred in our lives, and where does it sit in our bodies? And just tell us a little bit about it.
Well, hatred is one of those emotions that is kind of silently seething in our body. It likes to hide and almost mask itself as different emotions. So we may think it's anxiety, or we may think it's resentment, or we may think it's depression, but it likes to be quiet and hide. However, it's one of the most damaging to our bodies, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, because it really shuts down all your chakras. It likes to live in the liver, gallbladder, and of course the heart is where most of the time hatred resides.
Yes. Wow. Okay, so what is something that we can do to help bring hatred out of our bodies?
So there's a couple things that we need to realize what the symptoms of hatred are. And once we realize the symptoms, then we can use releasing techniques or oils, what we're going to talk about tonight, to better help the hatred come out. So some of the symptoms of hatred are very obvious. You hate someone. You absolutely hate them. You can't stand the sight of them, their voice.
You don't want to be around them.
Yeah, and so you know when that's happening, right? But some of the other symptoms are depression, allergic reactions, because your immune system is so full.
It's just trying so hard to reject this.
It's seething and it's angry. And so it's trying so hard to reject it and get it out of your system that your immune system explodes. So you have allergic reactions to food, to things you've been using for years. You have congestion, sinus congestion. You also have severe constipation because you're not letting go of the crap, the hatred in your life. So you're actually holding on to it.
You're holding it within.
So it creates stomach problems, diaphragm problems. It also is one of the key ones about hatred is stubborn injuries that won't heal. Everything from wounds to sprained ankles to shoulder arm issues.
So just reoccurring injuries over and over
and they
over again.
Won't heal. When the doctor says, "Oh, I don't know why it's not healing," well, that's why. And the other one is arthritis. Arthritis has a link to hatred, because it sits in your body and festers and then comes out and then goes away and then comes out and goes away.
You know, that's interesting because I also know that with arthritis, often an emotion that goes along with that is not wanting to change. And so we're trying to like hold on to that hatred, and we don't want to release it from our lives. And because of that, we're resisting change. We don't want to bring that love into our lives.
Well, and hatred, when we hate someone, we feel basically that we have a reason. We have a right to. So we shouldn't have to change, because most of the time when we have hatred, it's because someone hurt us.
Right.
Therefore, we have a reason to hate them.
Wow. Okay, so tonight, should we do the release first? Do you want me to explain the release, or do you want...
Sure, let's explain the release tonight. We'll do it a little differently, and then we'll talk about love and the oils.
Okay. So I'm actually going to explain the technique for releasing this emotion tonight. And this is my lovely dog, Lizzie.
Hi, Lizzie.
She's wanting to be a part of the program tonight. So she's getting a haircut tomorrow. She'll look different tomorrow. Anyways, okay, so this is actually a technique that I love to utilize, especially when I'm business mentoring people, because this has really powerful effects on people. So this is, sometimes I call it the tree exercise or the BRR exercise. Tonight I'm not going to go into the BRR, but let's talk about the tree portion of it. So with this exercise, to release it, you get a piece of paper and you write down on there every person or thing or incident in your life that you hate.
Hate.
You just go through and you get it all out. You write it out. If you need to do details, do the details. If you don't want to do details and you just want to say, a specific time in your life, then do that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then once you do this, it's very important to physically get this out of your body. And so one of the best ways is to go out and find a living tree. Now, the important thing to know about this is that it can't be a plant like this. It has to, and it can't be a newborn tree. It needs to be
a wise, old, established tree.
And deeply rooted.
Because they're living.
They're living, and trees take in our bad and they convert it to good. So they're very good at taking our bad and making it a positive.
Absolutely.
And so we go out to the tree and it helps to physically touch it, to put your hand on it, and then go through that list. Carry that list out there. Let those emotions come out. Tell the tree all the things that you are hating right now.
Exactly.
Just spew it out on it. And then let the tree take it in. And the important thing to know with this release technique is that when you let that out and the tree, it's living, it's taking it in. So if you can't, you probably don't want to go tell the person because that would cause more drama and issues in your life.
But sometimes we really
Sometimes you need to.
That's the truth.
But if you can't, this is a great technique because it is something living that is taking your emotions and converting it. So that's the release technique we're giving you. And feel free to let the tears out. I had a wonderful mentor once who actually taught me this technique who said, Mandy, I want you to try and cry every day because when you let those tears out, you're letting out the anger, the frustration, the hatred.
Well, and I always tell my clients that come and see me, the emotional release isn't something that just floats away. Your body actually physically detoxes it.
Yes.
And there's only a few ways they can do that. Crying, urinating, bowel movements, throwing up, if you're a woman, sometimes menstruating, or sweating. It has to detox out of your body. So if you're putting something living next to you that can convert, in science, oxygen to carbon dioxide, it can convert your emotions from negative into positive, therefore releasing it through the tears as well.
Right. So this is a great technique. So that's our release technique that we're using. Get a piece of paper, write it all down, and go and tell it to a tree. So what oil do we use for this?
So the oil that works best for helping release hatred is thyme.
I love this one.
Now this is a very interesting oil because it is the oil of releasing and forgiving. That's what it's known for.
Yeah.
And it is very earthy.
Yes.
Right? It's thyme. It's an herb.
It's an herb.
So it has its own living properties. The great thing about this one too is it helps detox the liver, which is where this lies. If your liver's all congested and clogged up, you're more likely going to feel hatred than anything. It also helps remove congestion, that sinus congestion. But what it does, two things most importantly. Scientifically, physiologically, what's going on is it rushes circulation to the tissues. Not just through your blood, but to your tissues. So I caution any of you that have high blood pressure to not use this oil because it will raise your blood pressure, and we don't want that. So if you need an alternative, please email me or email Mandy and we'll get you the alternative. But emotionally what this does, this oil thyme, is it starts little by little, use by use, allowing you to tolerate and to be patient with those you hate. And the more you learn to love and tolerate, the more you can release this hatred.
Awesome.
The number one way to release hatred, if you don't have a tree right next to you and you're in an emotional spin cycle, is the first thing you have to learn to do is forgive yourself first for hating, and then you can start forgiving others, and then the hatred will naturally release. And thyme actually helps you do that.
Yeah.
And where I would put this for helping you release the hatred is actually on the gallbladder liver point, which I'm going to right here underneath your rib cage is where your gallbladder and your liver lie right here. If you get a drop right under that gallbladder, it will start releasing those organs. By releasing those organs and bringing circulation to those organs, it's automatically going to start the releasing of the hatred process.
Awesome.
I caution you, when you do this, you will start feeling hatred. It is normal. That is the process
You're trying
of
to get it
releasing
out.
So don't fight it.
No.
Own it.
Let your
Own
body
it.
release it so that you can be done with it. Okay.
Exactly.
So let's move on to the opposite, which is love.
Love.
So this is the perfect month because it's February to talk about love.
Yay.
So tell us about this emotion and how we bring it into our lives.
So love is something we all want in our lives in some form or another. We all want to give it and we all want to receive it. It's like the number one thing human beings desire. So love lives in the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is green. So eat green,
And she's
wear
wearing green.
think of green, smell green things, be around lots of plants. They bring in love. But the other thing to do to bring in love is just start loving and speaking it. I love my dog. I love Mandy. I love my house. I love my car. And sometimes the more you outspoken the word love, the more you open your heart chakra to love, and it starts presenting itself in ways that you can really recognize it. The oil we'll use for this, that I love this oil, is geranium.
Oh, I love geranium.
Geranium is one of those oils that a little goes a long way.
Yes.
And geranium is also an emotional healer. It has components that will just go into your body and start releasing stuff you didn't even know you were dealing with.
Right.
And that's the cool thing about oils is they're living properties, and they'll do that. But also what geranium does is it cleanses the liver. And we just talked about hatred living in the liver.
You know, and another thing that I love about geranium is it softens your skin.
Yes.
And so I think about that and I think it does the same thing to your heart. It goes in and softens your heart. And I know the best oil for the heart is rose.
Yes.
But a good rose is near impossible to get, and it's very, very expensive. Very expensive. And so if you can't get a hold of rose, geranium is considered the poor man's rose.
Yep.
It's considered the substitute for rose, and it's considered to heal a broken heart.
And actually, some people do better with geranium than rose.
Rose is such a high frequency. That's actually how I am. I prefer geranium over rose.
So you really you can play with either one of those. The other things that geranium does is it restores hormone balance in your glands. So you have pituitary glands, pineal glands inside your brain, and this actually tells you you're feeling love. This actually sends out those hormones that says I can feel love. So it helps balance your hormones so that you're able to receive love. The other thing geranium does, which is interesting, is it helps create personal security. The feeling that I'm okay. I love myself. And when you have that personal security, watch what happens around you, because you will just instantly attract that love you've been seeking.
Awesome. Yeah, geranium is known to be the oil of love and trust. And so when you're trying to bring it in, often one of our barriers with loving someone is being able to trust someone.
Yeah.
And I personally think that it opens your heart and helps you to realize that you get to choose to trust someone.
Yes.
Whether or not they're going to respect that trust is up to them.
Exactly.
But it encourages you not to withhold that love and trust so that you can feel the joy and happiness in your life.
So one of the last things about geranium too is if you put it on and it makes you feel bad, that means you have to work on the hatred before you bring in the love. It's your body saying, hey, you got to get through your stuff and let go before I can do what you're desiring. Awesome. So make really special attention to when you're using these oils, how they make you feel.
Okay, so where would you put it?
I would put it over my heart, over your heart. Your heart chakra lies in here, over your heart, so it could get right into your heart, right into your bloodstream, and you're making a symbolic gesture of it.
So sorry, that's Lizzie. She's letting us know someone's here. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us that information. Please remember to subscribe below, and please contact us if you are interested in having us talk about a specific emotion. We really, really, really want to tailor these to be exactly what you guys are looking for. So thanks again for watching.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.